Alright, we're going to clean the Taurus G3c. So we're going to, first thing we're going to do, pull the magazine out, chamber check, nothing in the chamber. Alright, to pull the Taurus apart, the G3c, G2c, G2, G3, all of these are basically the same. You've got these little, you've got a lever, you got a side over here, and a side over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab with my thumb and my finger on the opposite side, fingernails basically, I'll pull down. And as I pull down, I'm going to take the slide and rack back just like that. So I'm going to pull down, rack back. Now you're going to have to pull the trigger and push forward. Alright, so the slide's pulled apart, ready to be cleaned. This gun has never been shot, so this is a first clean and lube off this gun. I have never shot it. I got it, and I've never even pulled, well, I think I pulled it apart once, but I have not cleaned and lubed. So we're going to take the rod and spring, we'll push forward and pull out. So push forward, pull out. Same thing with the barrel, forward, wiggle it, and out. Before you do any shooting with your guns, if you buy a brand new gun, you're going to want to clean and lube them. They've got that old packing grease in there, and you need to get some good lubrication down in there. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Ops number 9. I'm going to take, I've already got my brush set up on my rod. So put your brush, the correct size. This is the 9mm, so I've got brush on here. I'm going to take the barrel, take the brush, dip it down in the hop, swirl it around, get some solvent on there, push through, pull out. We're going to do it again. With this one, since it's never been shot, this is no big deal. But with yours, when you've shot them, what you're doing on the second and third dip is you're cleaning all that excess dirt off. It's falling down the bottom of the solvent, and you've got a clean brush, a new clean brush. That way you're not just taking dirt and putting dirt right back in it. You put it down in there, shake it real good so it gets all that basically excess gunpowder off of it. It will go down in there because it's not going to dissolve all of it. Not all of it is going to dissolve. It will fall down to the bottom. Alright, so that's good and clean. We send it in 3 times. There's very few that's going to take more than 3 times to send in. Alright, now grab my bore snake. Again, the bore snakes have the size on the brass end, and you can buy bore snakes at your local gun shops. Most of them carry them. I know our couple of big box ones do, and our mom and pop does. Get to frequent a lot of them here lately, just hunting for ammunition. And again, I'm going to pull this one through 3 times. Alright, and that should be good. Alright, so we're going to try to look, see how shiny that is. We want it nice and shiny, and that's what all, and you can tell this one hasn't really ever been fired outside of probably that 1 round from the factory. But you always want them nice and shiny. Even after they've been fired a long time, clean them until they're nice and shiny. And again, 3 good brushes down in, 3 good pulls with your bore snake, and you should be good to go. It shouldn't need much more than that. Alright, so it doesn't matter what order you clean all this in, so I've grabbed the frame, so we're going to clean the frame. And I can see there's still some packing grease, so we're going to take our gun scrubber, we're going to get it wet. We're going to take my toothbrush, and yours may take more than this. Again, this one has not been shot. I've actually been using this for testing out on some of the holsters that we make. Alright, we're watching for that dirty solvent dropping off of it turned clear. And we just got that. So we know it's clean. It went from dirty to clear. So we know that this firearm is clean. Alright, so we're going to sit this to the side, upside down. It will dry off. You may not see it, but it is upside down, just sitting there. That way it can run down, dry off, whatever it needs to do. Alright, so we've got the slide. We're gonna do the same thing. Alright, we're gonna get it wet. And I can see the packing grease just coming off. You don't want to shoot your gun until you've actually pulled it and cleaned it. Once you get it in, once you buy a brand new gun, pull that gun, clean it. I do know that a lot of the manufacturers have actually stopped warranting it unless you pull it and clean it. They will not warranty it. I had a person that told me they had shot their gun and it jammed up on them because they didn't clean it. It had that old packing grease up in there and it jammed, and they wouldn't do anything with it. They wouldn't touch it. I don't remember the type of gun. I do remember the it was a lady, and she didn't, you know, you buy a gun, you don't know. She didn't know any better. She didn't, you know, probably never even thought about cleaning a gun. Never thought she would even have to clean a gun. She just bought a gun to shoot it. And they wouldn't warranty it, locked up. Fortunately, the gunsmith, her local gunsmith, was able to take care of it. So it ended up not really being a big deal. Yeah, I don't know how much he charged her or whatever to look at it and fix it for her, but she was telling me that, and I was like, oh, well, that's not any good. So any students that come through my classes, if they have not cleaned and lubed their gun for the first time, I do not let them shoot their gun until it's clean and lubed. So if you come to a concealed weapons class and you have not cleaned and lubed your gun, you're gonna have to rent one of mine, because I know mine are clean and lubed. Alright, so we sprayed that off, cleaned it out, we're good on that. And this, yeah, see the spring, you can actually see, I don't know if you can see that, you can see that grease on there. There's a lot of packing grease on this spring, so I'm going to get that out of there. So I'm going to spray this pretty heavily. You don't normally have to spray your springs that heavily, because in all honesty, they don't get super dirty. But this one's got that packing grease in there, and I don't want that packing grease. I don't tend to pull my springs and stuff apart. Typically, you don't have to. If you get one real caked up, you will. But most of you that are doing this, you're not going to get yours caked up. Alright, I'm going to set this to the side so it can dry. Now, I'm going to go ahead and wipe my barrel back down again. And now the barrel, we're going to open the grease, dab the finger in just a little bit. Alright, that's good. Gonna call that good on that one. Alright, again, this is your this is part of your firing pin. It goes from here to there. You see that little spring right there? That's part of the firing pin. And you can push, this is your little safety mechanism right here. You can push that down and you can actuate your firing pin. I'm going to leave that up to you. It's highly debated whether you're going to drop some oil down in there or not. I don't. I do put oil right here though. FMO 350 AW Lubricating. I'm going to send it bare, just a smidge. Alright, and then I'm going to take my thumb, actually I'm going to take my little brush, and I'll work that down in. That way it's getting down in there, and I know it's down in there. Alright, the extractor rod You can do this a couple ways. You can try to come behind here and spray some in, and you can also try to come right down in there and spray some behind it, which is the way I'm going to go. Again, this FMAW is meant to work its way down in there. I still have not looked up the definition of what that's called. I just keep forgetting and I don't remember. Alright, so that's about all I'm going to oil. Now the rest of it's going to basically be grease. Get a little bit on my finger. Going to take, ooh, that was a lot. And we're going to go in the grooves on the slide. We're going to go in between there. This is a some kind of painter's brush. I call it a painter's Q-tip. I'm not sure what it does. I'm not an artist, not a painter by any means. And when you're putting this on there, you can kind of feel friction, a little bit of resistance, and then once you get it lubed, you really feel it open up. Then you just take your finger and take some of the excess. I do get down in here. See, that's kind of turning. See how dull that side is? How shiny that side is? That's what you want. And this has little to do more than just giving it a good little coating. That's about all you're doing right there, is just giving it a good little coating. Alright, now we're going to get it down in this rail. And basically with the grease, I put it literally on everything. Again, this is a type of nitride coating, I'm assuming. Don't hold me to that. But it will wear off, and the grease will help it last longer. It won't stop it from wearing, but it will help it last a little bit longer. That's what you want. You want to keep your firearms in the best shape as you can, as long as you can. They will all wear somewhat down the line, but we want to try to keep them looking good, running good, as long as we can. Gonna get it down in here. In fact, this hole, and just do it like that. And I just do the inner part right here on these, because this the spring seats in here. Now the barrel does kind of come out in and out of that, the other one, so I do get grease down in there. Alright, I'm going to run my fingers back over this, make sure I've got the grease where I want it there. Grease down in there. That is pretty good for the slide. Alright, now we're going to go back to the frame. It's dried off now. We're going to take the FMO. You've got a spring right here, and I've got some stuff down in there I can't get to. So I'm going to spray. Right there. Spray right there. Anywhere you see anything that looks like it's going to move and you can't get to it, put a little bit of oil. Again, not a whole lot, but a little bit of oil. Alright, I've got some down in here. Alright, now you can tell that there's some wear here. There's going to be wear here. So we're going to go on top right there. Right there with the grease. Then we're going to grab the Q-tip. You know there's going to be some here. There's certain places you can't get to with your finger. Now if you can get to it with your finger, just go ahead and put your finger on it and grease her up, but can't get to it with the finger, well, you have to use a Q-tip. And again, you don't want a whole lot of grease on it, you just want enough. And if you do this for a while, you'll learn what's enough, what's too much. Because grease does attract dirt more than oil would. However, grease also lasts longer than oil. It will stay on your firearm longer. And there's a lot of you that are going to be, especially right now, you can't get ammo. So you're not going to shoot once a month, so you just need to clean your gun once a month. So with doing that, you want that grease to last longer. You want whatever's on your gun to last longer, because you're not pulling it apart as frequently and you're not cleaning it as frequently, so you need it to last a little bit longer. I do a lot of the laser gun training. I have a laser gun system, and I have a lot of a few laser guns that mimic the same guns that I carry, so I have several of those that does away with the ammo. Now it doesn't take the place of it by any means, but it does add an extra training, so I'm not using up as much ammo, because it is hard to get right now, and when it's hard to get, you got to do what you got to do. Even some guys I know that load their own ammo are having a hard time getting the materials to load. Alright, well, I missed a little spot right there. Again, I like to cover all the surfaces with the grease, just to protect my coating. Outside of the plastic, I'm not worried about it being all over the plastic outside of this part that might rub a little bit on top right there. The rest of it I'm not too worried about. Alright, that should be good to go. Now, since we did spray off the recoil spring, I'm going to spray a little bit of oil. And I'm going to kind of take my fingers and rub it around a little bit. Now, when you put it back together and you rack the slide, it will spread itself out, and you may have to wipe it down. You don't want a whole lot of excess. Alright, I'm going to call that good as far as that's concerned. Now we're going to put it back together. So we're going to take the slide, the barrel, send it down in the barrel hole. The fat end goes forward, and we're going to send it down in the notch, right? There's two notches. We're going to send it down in that second notch. Alright, so we're going to put it there. We're going to push forward. A little too far. Okay. Down in that second notch down in there, if you can see that. But it's not on this notch, it's on the second notch. Alright, so to put it back together, we're going to take our little grooves here and here. We're going to line them up with our little bat wings right there. Right in. Pull it back. This is going to pop up automatically. And we're good to go with that. Alright, this is completely reassembled. Let me get that out of the way. I'm going to pull my wax out. Alright, now go ahead and wipe your slide off. Really good. I'm going to take the wax. You see it kind of sheening right there. I do wax most of my guns, and this is not my carry gun. I do have a Taurus that I do carry a good bit, along with a lot of other stuff, but by no means do you have to wax it, but the wax will allow it or help it last longer as far as the finish is concerned. just like car wax. Putting it on, and it's already started to dry over in here. And you can even put the wax on the plastic if you want to. I don't suggest it. There's no reason. This is Renaissance wax. Most of your museums use this stuff. This is really good stuff. It lasts a long, long time. It is not the cheap. It is a microcrystalline wax. This is a 200 milliliter bottle to give you the size if you go looking for it on the internet. And I have been using this for several years now. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's right here. It's where the top of it is. And I've used it on a lot of guns. So it lasts a long, long time. Alright, so when this is hazed up, just kind of like car wax, we're basically just going to go in and we're going to start pulling it off. We're going to start just wiping it off. Sometimes it's hard to see the haze. Alright, that's about all you have to do. Make sure that you don't have any oil leaking out or anything like that. Now you're going to have some lint off your cloth and stuff. I take an air compressor, compressed air, and I blow it off. And I'll do that after the video, but just blow all that off. Make sure you've got all that. I got a little bit of oil right there. But that is put back together. That's the Taurus G3c. And it's put back together and ready to go do some shooting.